What's up, guys? Evil here. I recently picked up all the released stories in the Marvel premiere line these last couple of months. I thought it'd be interesting or fun to um, read through um, all the current releases that we got so far. The most recent one being the Hawkeye one right there, and give my thoughts. Uh, Overall, if these line of books are worth it. Basically, a lot of people are saying that this is um, kind of like the competitor to DC's compact editions. Well, unlike those where DC released like two or three of those like a month, Marvel releases one of these like almost every 2 to 3 months. I believe the next one is gonna be a Punisher story, and that one's supposed to be released in March, I guess. So, as of now, Hawkeye is the newest one. So I thought it'd be fun. There's like 70s currently out. Uh, I have, for the most part, outside maybe Old Man Logan and Civil War, I haven't read any of these stories before. And Civil War and Old Man Logan I read years ago. So I thought it'd be fun for me to read all this within the week and a half, and do like a ranking of the currently released stories. Um, so yeah, I'm probably gonna pause this for a moment, decide on which one to read first, and then go somewhere and post up, I guess, and start this video. All right. Uh, I'll be back with updates. All right, guys. So after some debating, I decided to start off this journey, adventure, whatever, with Daredevil Born Again by Frank Miller. I was debating between this one and the Black Panther one, since these two technically were the first out of these Marvel premiere line releases. So ultimately, I decided to start with Daredevil. I read some of Frank Miller's works in the past, like the Dark Knight Return and the Wolverine miniseries, which they should put the Wolverine miniseries in this format. But yeah, so currently it's a pretty nice day. I'm at the parking lot of my local mall. It was pretty windy earlier. It seems like it's calmed down since. So I'm gonna probably go in the mall, see if I could find any free place that's open, that's not occupied. I could sit down and chill and start reading. If it's busy for whatever reason, then I might relocate to another location, maybe a park or something. But yeah, so let's go check it out and see what's good inside. What's up, guys? Quick update. Today is day 3 of me doing this journey of reading the Marvel Premiere Collection releases. Currently, I'm obviously still reading through Daredevil. The first day, I only read a single chapter, and then I don't know. I was really tired. I kept on nodding off as I was trying to read at the mall. But yesterday I read more. Earlier today I read a little bit more. So far I'm really liking this comic by Frank Miller and David Mazzucchelli. It's basically about the Kingpin learning Daredevil's identity being Matt Murdock, and he is systematically basically ruining his life, freezing his bank assets, and Matt Murdock himself is, going through a tough time. He spends a good portion of the book being depressed, laying in bed, like sleeping through stuff, like trying to figure out what went wrong and stuff like that. Not too much Daredevil in costume in action, but you do see Matt Murdock get into fights outside of costume here and there. But yeah, I'm planning to hopefully finish this book off. Hopefully tonight, and then maybe tomorrow I'll start with one of the other books. I was originally gonna plan to at least read one book a day, but these older comics from the 80s are pretty dialect heavy, so took longer than I expected to read through one of these volumes. Hopefully the other ones are not as dialect heavy and I could hammer through them, but if they are at this pace, I would probably take almost the entire month reading all through 7 of these volumes. But anyways, I'm probably gonna sit and finish through the story. I'm in the latter half already, so yeah. On to it, I guess. I'm gonna wrap this one up. Alright, anyways, enough me rambling. I'm gonna continue reading this. Alright. What's up, guys? It's day 7 already. I finished reading through this Black Panther book, finished reading through the Daredevil book, and I started reading through the Captain America one, the Winter Soldier. But as for the Black Panther one, I wasn't a too big fan of this story. It was essentially... This comic essentially about Wakanda politics and the inter-conflict of Wakanda, and how certain Wakandians feel like Black Panther T'Challa is not fit to be king of Wakanda because he's goes off Avenger doing Avengers stuff pretty often and stuff like that. Like he's not like full-time king or whatever. I don't know, like I don't really care for the story. If you're a Black Panther fan, let me know. Is this like within the realm of Black Panther stories? Is this something you consider good? Like, is there better Black Panther stories and Marvel just picked the shitty one? Let me know in the comments if you're a Black Panther fan. So, yeah, I wasn't. Bottom line, not too big fan of this particular story. It was pretty boring, and it took me forever to read through because I wasn't really too into it. Now, Captain America, in the other hand, much better. I'm enjoying this one a lot more better. This one is essentially about the Red Skull gets assassinated, and then by some mysterious assassin, and Captain America's call to action. Captain America in this story, he's also having conflict within himself. He's constantly having these flashbacks of his past, but he's implying like these are false memories, and he doesn't remember a lot of these flashbacks happening to him and stuff like that. So almost feels like a Wolverine story. So you have characters like Crossbones also that shows up. I'm probably like more than halfway through this story at this point. So currently I'm at the local park. It's around like 4 o'clock. So I'm gonna find somewhere like a post up and read more of this story, and hopefully finish reading through this one and start the next one. Alright, I'll see you guys a little bit later. What's up, guys? It's currently day 10. I'm currently reading through Fantastic Four, Solving Everything. Stories pretty much about Reed Richards wants to basically solve everybody's problems. So the Fantastic Four are going through interacting with various characters of the various corners of the Marvel Universe and helping them out, solving their various problems. I'm enjoying it so far. I think my favorite part of the story is towards like the beginning, where Reed Richards finds a way to enter this dimension, and he gets introduced to the Council of Reeds, which is like a council full of Reed Richards from the alternate universes and stuff like that. And I think it was pretty hilarious that the Reed Richards from the main universe, Earth 616, Earth Prime, whatever, confronts one of the Reeds, like right here, and he basically tells him that pretty much all the other Reed Richards outside of himself have abandoned their families, and the Earth Prime Reed Richards is kind of like the only unique one who found like a balance between his work and family life. But But yeah, I'm planning to get further. Hopefully, I could finish reading this book today, if not tomorrow. So I'm gonna continue with that. Yeah, I'm gonna continue with that. All right, until my next update. Late. What's up, guys? So it's officially day 12. I started reading through Civil War the other day. I read through majority of it already. I'm in like the last 2 or 3 chapters. I'm really enjoying Civil War. I read this a long time ago when it was coming out back in 2005, 2006. I think I was still in high school then. I enjoyed the story then. I enjoy it now. I think arguably out of all the Marvel Premiere editions that's been released, this is arguably the most popular one. Got a movie adaptation. It got a video game adaptation in the form of Ultimate Alliance 2. The story essentially is about where it takes. Yeah, it's about this big event that happened revolving the new humans. They were like live streaming. They were like live streaming their antics of saving the day, of fighting supervillains, and things went wrong. And this villain named Nitro, who has a ability to explode, ended up exploding while like trying to fight the new warriors, speedballing them. And then he ended up killing a lot of people, a lot of children, like thousands of people. I forgot exactly the amount of people, but he ended up killing a lot of people. And then this caused the government to put like a check on superhuman activities. So now if you want to be a superhero, you gotta register with the government, or you get locked in jail. So Iron Man is leading the team of pro legislation, and then Captain America is going against it. So Iron Man wants all the superheroes to sign up and work for the government, while like Captain America feels like superheroes should have their freedom and secrecy, and they shouldn't reveal their secret identities because it could put their loved ones in danger and stuff like that. So it's like an internal conflict within the heroes. But yeah, with that said, like I said, I'm enjoying this one. I'm at the park right now. I'm probably gonna find a spot where I could post up, read rest of this, and possibly start one of the other premiere editions. So yeah. So that said, I'm gonna head on out and find a spot to post up. I'll check in later. What's up, y'all? It's day 15. I've been reading the Hawkeye book these last couple of days. My life as a weapon. Quick thoughts. I personally have never read a Hawkeye solo story before prior to this. Mostly my exposure to Hawkeye is through the movies or appearances that he shows up in other people's books like Spider-Man or the X-Men and stuff like that. But as far as this goes, this primarily focuses on Hawkeye and Kate Bishop, and primarily street level stories. Like there's one story that Hawkeye ends up saving a dog. There's like one story about where the Hawkeye Clint ends up helping one of his neighbors that lives in the apartment with him with their bills and stuff like that to prevent them from being investigated. And he also ends up fighting some like mobsters and gangsters and stuff like that. And then there was another story where Shield, Nick Fury or whatever, tasked Clint to get this tape that shows evidence of Hawkeye assassinating someone, and then Kate Bishop ends up finding it and stuff. That was kind of enjoyable, I guess. But for the most part, it's fine. You know, it's not doing anything that's like, oh my god, this story is amazing, or it's, you know, blows my mind. But at the same time, it's not doing anything offensive where I'm like bored out of my mind reading through this, and then it's like a painful read or painful journey. I don't mind the art either. The art is fine. You know, so I pretty much almost read through this entire book already. I think I only have like one chapter left, or two or one chapter left. I'm probably gonna finish reading through it today. Now, I also have the Wolverine, Old Man Logan. It's the only one I haven't read through yet. I'll probably start that one today and finish the Hawkeye and start the Wolverine one today. And then once I finish the Wolverine one, I'll give you overall thoughts of my experience with these books and all that stuff. I'm currently at the park. Today's a pretty windy day, so I'm probably gonna just chill in the car and finish reading this. I will comment later, probably after I start the Wolverine book, you know, and then do an overall best and towards least liking ranking of the books I read so far. Alright, I'll check in with you guys later. Peace and out. What's up, guys? It's been a couple of days since my last update. I finished reading through the Old Man Logan off screen, and I spent the last day or so gathering my thoughts over all the experience of reading through all these comics, and how much, you know, which ones I really enjoyed and which ones I didn't and all that stuff. But that aside, let's go over some of the positive things about the packaging here with these premiere editions. First off, I really enjoy these like leather feeling covers. Feels nice, feels pretty premium. The size is, if we're going to compare the size to other things, here's a traditional regular issue of a singular comic in comparison to the premiere editions. So it's slightly smaller than a singular issue. And then let's compare that. Okay. Then you compare that to your average manga and the DC compact editions. So they're a little taller than the compact editions, but they're thinner than the manga and the DC compact editions. Of course, that's going to vary from story to story, how much more content's going to hold. Each one of these premiere editions come with like an introduction, a little introduction piece, usually by one of the writers or artists on the story, or in Daredevil's case, it had like an introduction with Charlie Cox, the actor who plays Daredevil in the live action Netflix show and the recent Marvel movies and stuff. Each one of these, unlike the DC compact editions that pretty much came with like no bonus material at all, each one of these come with like cover art of the individual issues, alternate cover arts. It comes with sketches, concept arts, alternative covers, like creative interviews, like the introduction. It's really cool. I dig it when when they do compilation releases, like these trade paperbacks or premiere editions or whatever. They have bonus material, whether it's sketches from the artist or notes from the writer of the story, stuff like that. That kind of stuff is always cool. Gives you a little mindset of the creative process of the story. And I personally enjoy reading through stuff like that, like the creator's thoughts and stuff like that. But that's pretty much what you're getting. I personally enjoy the premiere editions. Let's now that's out of the way, let's rank on how much I enjoy which ones I enjoyed the most and least. I didn't have no real creative formatting of how I was gonna rank them, so I'm gonna just lay them on the table on which ones I enjoyed the most to the least. Starting off with Old Man Logan, this is by far one of the stories I enjoyed the most. That's top tier. Top tier for Hawkeye was inoffensive. It was okay. I don't know how to describe something that you're just whatever with, but at the same time you don't really actively hate something. So it's okay. I'll put that like a C tier. Old Man Logan's A tier. Hawkeye C tier. Civil War, also really enjoyed it. As you can tell, it's the same creative team too. Really cool. The Fantastic Four, Saw for Everything, give that a B tier. And if you guys like these stories more, or dislike a certain story more than I do, whichever, it's all personal preference anyways, so it's all good. Daredevil Born Again, I like this one. I like, if I had an in-between option, I'll put that in between B and A tier. Captain America, Winter Soldier. This one I also really enjoyed. But put that one maybe B tier, or with these T. I enjoyed Captain America, that, and the Black Panther is by far the least liked of all these stories. Maybe in the future, after rereading them or sitting, giving more time for these stories to resonate with me, maybe I'll move these around. But as it is right now, this is what I think of the current tier list of the current Premier editions. I know the Punisher one's gonna come out, I think, next month. So that said, I would like to hear your thoughts on, if you pick these up, which ones you like the best, which ones you like the least. Also, what other Marvel storylines would you like to be adapted in this format? Me personally, I wouldn't mind to see like the Marvel Zombies be released in this format. I wouldn't mind to see Wolverine miniseries by Frank Miller get released in this format, or Enemy Estate, Wolverine Enemy Estate. I really like that story. That would be a nice one to include in this format. Various Spider-Man stories, like Kraven's Last Hunt is a popular one, will be pretty good in this format. But yeah, just off top of my head, House of M would be nice. I would have liked to see some of the spin-off events of Civil War be released in this format, like the Spider-Man Civil War or the Wolverine Civil War. Wolverine goes after Nitro and stuff like that. But so that's my overall final thoughts of the Marvel premiere editions. Thanks for checking out the video. Leave a comment, and till next time, I'll see you next video. Peace and out.